What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Eternal Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob, and this is another episode of our fantasy booking series, Reckoning. And we are hot off the heels of Event Horizon. We had 5 matches. The World Heavyweight Championship was decided in a triple threat match. Finn Bálor, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. And then we also had another triple threat match for our mid-card title, our Vanguard title, where Damian Priest took on Seth Rollins and Penta. But now, since the dust has settled from Event Horizon, we move on to Riptide, which will be taking place August 29th, Saturday. And if you're new here, our episodes air every Tuesday, and we have a monthly pay-per-view or sometimes 2 a month, depending on how things fall. So tonight, we see the arena, we see fans bustling in, we see the lights, Reckoning, pyro shoots off the stage, flames, fireworks just popping off left and right. The camera pans around the crowd. They're screaming. They're showing their signs. They're showing their shirts, their merch, their love for their favorite wrestling superstars here. And on to our opening contest. Out comes Scott Hall, fresh off the loss at Event Horizon, but he's looking to take out some aggression tonight. And his challenger for this one-on-one match, Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah. Out comes Macho Man in the black and white madness attire. So Scott Hall, he came inches away from becoming world champion. And maybe he believes he was the biggest threat in that match. But Macho Man, he wants an opportunity. The Reckoning before the Event Horizon pay-per-view, Macho Man said he didn't care who came out of Event Horizon's champion because he's coming for the gold. The match starts, and Scott Hall, he's using his size advantage here. Early on, he's backing Macho into the corner, unloading heavy hands before he slows down the pace, and he's targeting the ribs in the back of Macho Man. Big shoulder tackles, big knee strikes, heck, even a follow-away slam. And Scott Hall, he even starts mocking Macho Man, going on to tell him that the madness is gone here. But Macho, he's fighting back, and the crowd starts rallying behind Randy Savage. He's firing off, he's striking for a bit, and then clothesline, elbow strikes, and a big running knee. But Hall catches Macho with a big boot, and it looks like he's about to finish him as Scott Hall grabs him and he hoists him up for that razor's edge. But Macho, he starts to wiggle, he starts to fight, he slips out, and Macho Man catches him with a big atomic drop. And Hall's down in the middle of the ring. The crowd, they're chanting, and Macho Man, he makes that ascension to the top rope. He signals, he throws those ones up in the air, he jumps, big flying elbow drop, goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3, and your winner, Macho Man Randy Savage. After the match, he hurries up and he grabs a microphone. Finn Bálor, you survived Event Horizon. You survived the Outsiders, but you've never survived the madness. And Finn Bálor, he appears on the entrance stage here, and he's holding his championship. And the two men stare each other down. And next out comes our new Vanguard Champion, Penta. He comes out for a little celebration. The crowd celebrates, chanting, "You deserve it, you deserve it." And Penta says that Seth Rollins and Damian Priest pushed him to his limit at Event Horizon, but he proved something. He proved that he deserved to be at the top of the Reckoning brand. He deserves this championship that he won. But before he can get too far into his promo, Adam Pearce, our general manager, comes out and he interrupts him. He says that every champion needs a challenger, and at Riptide, Penta will make his first title defense. But tonight, 4 men will vie for the opportunity in a fatal 4-way. And in the main event of the evening, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, the Bastard Pack, and Diamond Dallas Page, coming up from a hot win over Randy Orton at the pay-per-view. Penta raises the championship, and he does his zero miedo little hand taunt, signaling he has zero fear and he will take on anyone. Next up, we got a tag team contest here. Jurassic Express, our new #1 contenders for the tag team titles, are taking on the legendary team of Rhythm and Blues Honky Tonk Man and Greg the Hammer Valentine. Jurassic Express, they've earned this opportunity at the pay-per-view, and tonight, they're looking to prove why they deserve to be in the championship picture. So the older tag team, they're looking a little bit cocky here. And once the match starts, Greg Valentine, he slows the match down completely. He's targeting the legs of Jungle Boy and preventing him from using his speed and high-flying type of maneuvers. Honky Tonk Man, once he's tagged in, he constantly looks for shortcuts, distracting the referee, cheap shots behind the referee's back, and he's trying to keep Luchasaurus out of the action. They're cutting the ring in half here. using some veteran tactics. Jungle Boy, he's taking a beating here. It's looking very bad for Jungle Boy, but he's refusing to quit, refusing to back down. Eventually, he makes that hot tag, and Luchasaurus explodes into this matchup. He runs through both members of Rhythm and Blues, big boots, big clotheslines, even a double choke slam. But Rhythm and Blues, once they get their bearings about them a bit, they try one final trick, and they try to attempt to double team Jungle Boy. But Luchasaurus catches them, and they hit their finishing tag team maneuver. Luchasaurus goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and your winners, Jurassic Express. After the match, the Hardy Boyz, their music hits. Matt and Jeff, they walk out wearing their tag team titles. The crowd, they expect tension. But the Hardys, they clap, and they enter the ring. Matt goes on to say that, you know what, you guys really earned this opportunity. They shake hands, and the champions and the challengers stand together because at the pay-per-view, the tag team titles will be defended. But so far, both teams are showing respect. We'll get a quick commercial break, and we're coming right back to the action. Out comes Rob Van Dam, one of a kind. He makes his way out to the ring, and his opponent for the evening, none other than Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens, he's a fan favorite fighter. A couple months ago, he did challenge Finn Bálor. He used his rematch of sorts to try to get that world title, but that did not happen. Even though he did lose to Finn Bálor, he was nothing more than respectful after the events that occurred and admitted his wrongdoings. So RVD, he's the arrogant veteran here. He believes he's above Kevin Owens, and Owens says that maybe I'm not the most talented guy in this building or the coolest, but I fight, because RVD was starting to talk smack to him before the match really started. And once the bell rings and the action happens, RVD, he's had a sour attitude for months now. He's got that heel persona going on, and he's looking for shortcuts. Eye rakes, pulling the ropes, even feigning an injury, using anything he can to distract the ref. But Owens, he sees through it. He fights through this. He goes on to hit a cannonball, a senton, and even a super kick, and RVD's getting frustrated. He's able to finally lay out Kevin Owens, and he goes up top for that frog splash. He signals for it. Rob Van Dam. He jumps, but Owens, he rolls out of the way, and RVD crashes into the mat. Owens goes for a stunner. RVD escapes and tries to roll up by grabbing onto the shorts of Kevin Owens. But the referee, he catches this. RVD starts arguing with the ref. Owens suddenly spins him around. Kick to the gut. Stunner. 1, 2, 3. And your winner, Kevin Owens. RVD, he's heated here after this. Even though he lost the match, he's arguing with the ref that Kevin Owens did not beat him fairly. It looks like RVD just did not have a good night here. Next up, we see the camera backstage in the parking lot area of the arena. And a black SUV pulls up. We see a figure's boots touch the ground. And as the camera pans up, it is none other than a returning Adam Copeland, coming back from being choked out in a dog collar match by his former tag team partner, Macho Man Randy Savage. Adam Copeland says that he isn't finished with Macho Man, but before he can continue, Scott Hall enters the frame, and he's at it. He lost at Event Horizon. He lost tonight. He attacks Copeland, throwing him into the side of the SUV, and even his buddy Kevin Nash joins in. The Outsiders, they're beating down on Copeland, but Damian Priest rushes in, and Priest and Kevin Nash are face to face, almost nose to nose here. Neither man backs down until eventually security separates everyone and calms down the situation, but the tension is thick. Next up, we got another singles match here. Eddie Kingston taking on a victorious Jon Moxley, coming off a fresh win at the pay-per-view when he beat the Big Red Machine Kane. So the match starts. This is just a big fight here. Straight fight. Eddie using punches, Moxley answering with forearms, and Moxley, he is wearing some of that fatigue from the pay-per-view Saturday. So Eddie, he just suplexes, corner clotheslines. He tries for his finishing move, the back fist, but Moxley, sees this coming from a mile away. German suplex, brutal DDT, and Moxley gets him down. Ground and pound, ground and pound. Both men are looking exhausted here. Just a total fight, a total brawl, if you will. And then Eddie, he gets momentum, and he sets up for that back fist one more time. He spins around, Moxley ducks it, and Moxley goes for the paradigm shift DDT maneuver. But Eddie, he escapes, and then Bam Bam Bigelow appears. He's charging down in the ramp. Eddie turns, Bam Bam grabs him, and he just throws Eddie into the barricade. The referee calls for the bell. Ding, 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 ding. Moxley, he immediately gets into Bam Bam's face because this is his fight. This is his business. Bam Bam has no reason to be out here. Bigelow, he shoves him. Moxley shoves back, and before too long, this is a full-out brawl at ringside. These men are just slamming each other into the barricades, into the ring posts, taking turns slamming each other into the steel steps by the ring. Moxley screaming, "You want to fight?" Bam Bam smiles and yells back at him, "That's what I came looking for." And security finally separates these two men before any more carnage can happen. So we have a commercial break, and we come back, and the screen goes black. Slow, unsettling music is playing. And then quick flashes of images appear. The Undertaker is sitting in darkness. Aleister Black, surrounded by candles. And Brody King is just standing in the shadows. Then we hear a deep voice say that people believe championships make them powerful. Images fly across the screen of our current champions. The tag team champions, the Hardys. The Vanguard Champion, Penta. And our world champion, Finn Bálor. They believe gold protects them. And Brody King, he steps forward. He says that Bam Bam Bigelow found out differently. Aleister Black, he speaks, everyone fears something. And Undertaker even says, and soon everyone will fear the darkness. And the screen fades away as the House of Darkness make a statement here. They've been quiet for a little while, and now it looks like they are just coming to stir up even more trouble on the Reckoning brand. Next up, out comes Swerve Strickland, and he is flanked by Umaga, his hired muscle. Swerve says that I told everyone there was a new king, and he reminds everyone he defeated Vader. He defeated Triple H. Before he can continue, it's time to play the game. Boom, out comes Triple H. He comes storming out. His long hair is wet. No smile, no joking. He gets in the ring, and Triple H does say, "You beat me." And the crowd reacts because they're taken back a little bit here. "I'll give you credit." And then he pauses. "But you keep saying you beat Triple H." And he steps a little bit more closer to Swerve and Umaga. "You pinned Vader." And he pauses. "You didn't pin me." Swerve, he looks a little cocky and he says, "A win is a win." Triple H says, "Maybe." And he points at Swerve. "But if you want to be the king of this business, you first go through the game." So Triple H lays out the challenge, and Swerve, he accepts. And Swerve goes on to say that, "How about we settle things at Riptide?" Boom, we got another pay-per-view match booked. Next, out comes our world champion, Finn Bálor, the Prince. He comes out, he's got the world title on his shoulder, and he says that he respects Macho Man Randy Savage. But respect doesn't mean fear. "Savage, you want this championship?" He raises it high above his head. "Come take it." Macho Man, he appears on the screen on the Titantron. "Finn Bálor, you better enjoy holding that title, because the madness is coming." And Finn smiles. Next up, we got a backstage interview before the Fatal 4-Way match. We see Johnny Gargano. He's talking to a female interviewer, and he says that he made the hardest decision of his life leaving DIY, but it was necessary. He even says that Tommaso Ciampa was holding me back. And as the camera is focused on Gargano, off to the corner we see Darby Allin is watching from a distance. No words, no expression, and Johnny Gargano doesn't even seem to notice that Darby's there lurking. And it is main event time. Fatal 4-Way, #1 contenders match. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, the Bastard Pack, and Diamond Dallas Page. The bell sounds in Pack. He immediately takes control. He's the fastest person in this match. He hits springboard kick, suicide dive, running drop kicks, and Pac is looking like he could steal this whole thing early on here. But with any multi-man match, the tide starts to change. And DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, he starts slowing things down. He fights Pac and Johnny at the same time, strikes to one, punches to the other, and he starts building towards a diamond cutter. The crowd rises every time he tries to set it up, but he catches Ciampa. Boom, diamond cutter, 1, 2, Pac runs in and breaks up the pin. And then, as things start to change here, Tommaso Ciampa, he starts targeting Johnny. And he's going after Johnny, but every time Johnny is trying to avoid him, till finally Ciampa gets a hold of him, hits the Willow's Bell, takes down the knee pad, exposing the knee, big running knee, colliding into Johnny Gargano, goes for the pin, 1, 2, kick out. Johnny Gargano somehow manages to stay alive here. Some in the crowd are even chanting DI, and then finally, Johnny Gargano, he stops running and he fights his former tag team partner Ciampa, and they're exchanging here. Blow for blow, super kicks, forearms, knee strikes. And for a moment, people can see that these two men, they used to be brothers and that they know each other very well. The tag team chemistry is there even though they are opponents. And then finally, Pac, he gets back into the match, and he just cleans house, taking Johnny Gargano out of the equation, and he goes for Tommaso Ciampa. Big brutal kick on DDP, keeping DDP out. He comes for the Black Arrow, and then Johnny Gargano sees his opportunity, knocking him down off the top rope. And then, once more, Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano are alone in the ring. Ciampa looks at him. You were my brother. And Johnny says that was before. Ciampa charges, running knee. Johnny moves out of the way. Ciampa collides in the corner. Johnny grabs him, hits that one final beat. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. And your winner and new #1 contender, Johnny Gargano. He earns his shot for the Vanguard Championship against Penta at Riptide. And after the match, Johnny sits and he's staring down his former tag partner. And you can just kind of see he's got some emotions playing in his head for Gargano here. And then Ciampa, he rolls out of the ring. Penta appears. He's on the stage. He's holding that Vanguard Championship. Johnny's staring at him. And then the camera pans. Darby Allin is there. He's standing on top of the announcer's table, silent, watching. And since the crowd, they're cheering and they're going nuts, Johnny slowly turns around and he sees Darby. And the show ends with Penta's holding the Vanguard Championship high. And Johnny is realizing that he should have never messed with Darby Allin. He shouldn't have taken his anger out on Darby Allin. And that Darby is still coming. And that's going to be the end of this episode, guys. I hope you enjoy whenever you decide to listen to this or watch this. As always, have a good morning, good afternoon, good night, and try to make this week the best that it can be. I'll catch you guys next Tuesday for another episode. Have a good one.